Good evening, folks. This is Maryland Center, and welcome to Positively Plaistow. Last month we promised you a hard driving show today, and we've definitely got a hard driving show. Seated with me are 7 of the area's hardest driving auto racers, I guess is the way you put it. 2 weeks ago, Flo Rulo and I went up to Star Racetrack and we shot some footage, and that will be shown later on in the show. And I think you're gonna like it. If you have any questions, call in. You can even interrupt us. I want to introduce my guests right now. And directly across from me is the only other, we are acting as bookends tonight, is the only other female at this point on the show, Ginny Colby. Ginny drives Powder Puff at Lee Raceway. Seated next to Ginny is Mike Whedon. Mike drives on the Busch Grand National Tour. And we've got Buzzy Bazanson, who drives on the American Canadian Tour. Dan Bazanson, who drives at both Lee and Star Raceways. Then we have John DeBurrow. You know him from Big Boys Toys. He drives at Lee mainly. Dave Simard drives mainly at Star. Those two also drive at the opposite tracks. And seated next to me is Paul Matthews, who with his son drives at Star. His son Dave also drives at Star. In fact, we got several shots of Dave's car when we were taping the other day.
Good.
Okay, guys, and I use the term advisedly. Has anybody actually been in a race lately? I mean, recently.
I think we all have, haven't we?
All have? Okay. Okay, you got rained out.
No, we ran.
No.
You ran?
Yep.
Oh, you ran?
Yep, we ran this weekend.
Okay. How'd you guys do?
I crashed.
You crashed?
On the second lap of the feature.
Oh, dear.
Well, I won my heat. I crashed in the feature, so.
Right. How about you, John? You haven't, Lee hasn't opened yet.
Yeah, opened, what was it, April 8th? 8th and 9th.
Okay.
We
Oh,
ran,
yes, that's right, the special, yeah.
we won our heat and we led the feature for 18 laps, and 2 laps to go, ran into a little problem with the carburetor.
Okay.
Ended up finishing 5th.
Super.
So we don't race again till the 20th. of,
Okay, that's when the
May.
main season opens,
Right.
yeah, okay. How about you, Dan?
We raced at Star last week also, and we're doing well, but getting a tangle and ended up 11th.
Okay, Buzzy. What have you done recently?
Well, we've actually raced twice. We've gone to 3 shows. We started out at Lee, April 8th there, and the Coors Tour goes there
Oh, yeah.
once a year.
Yeah.
And we qualified real well, and we got into the feature there, and we actually got up as far as 3rd, and I think we had a good shot at finishing 2nd, and broke a water pump belt with 28 laps to go, I think.
Oh,
So
yeah.
ended up 15th for being 20-something laps out of the race, you know, because
Oh, yeah,
it was
yeah.
only, I think, 14 run at the end.
Yeah.
Then we had, we went to Canada, up to Senior. It's basically a pretty good super speedway, I guess, whatever you want to call it. They ran the Indy cars there back a few years ago.
Okay.
Just under a mile track, and we qualified fast time up there. We were really going well up there, and we led like, it was a 150 lap race. At one point we led 34 laps in the middle of the race, but we got a little smart. We thought we'd wait to the end to pit. We had to make gas. You couldn't go the whole distance on a tank of gas, and we waited till the end when everybody went in the beginning, lost track position, couldn't get back up near the front, ended up 9th. And then we went to Scarborough, Maine last week and got rained out, so
Oh, yeah.
we're waiting for this weekend to go to New York.
We're in New York,
Plattsburgh.
Plattsburgh.
Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
We ran at Oxford Speedway a couple of weeks ago up in Oxford, Maine. We qualified pretty well and finished 3rd in our heat. And
Yeah.
we ran just a little bit of the beginning of the feature, and we dropped out with mechanical problems. So we've just been doing a little tests and try to straighten out those problems. And we'll be running again the 20th of May at Monadnock Speedway.
Oh, okay. Now, you told me today you were up at staff for 3 or 4 hours this afternoon.
Right, we spent about 4 hours up there trying to work out some of the problems and see if we can make the car as quick as we can possibly get it.
I heard you roaring to your garage as I'm in the studio tonight. Mike's garage is right next to the studio, so. And how about you, Ginny?
Well,
You got it?
unfortunately, they only have 2 powder puffs a year.
Yeah, when are they gonna be?
Well, right now, we're looking at probably 1 in August and 1 in September.
Okay.
So I'll have a lot of time to work on a car and to watch what everybody else does
What do you
during the
drive? What do you
season.
drive to?
Hobby stock.
Okay. You?
It's a NASCAR Busch Grand National North Tour car.
Okay. Buzzy?
It's basically the same as a Pro Stock fiberglass body with its new Lumina body on it, 1990 Lumina, you know, replica, it's
Yeah, right.
fiberglass mold.
Good, good. Sounds good. How about you, Dan?
Camaro Pro Stock.
Okay. John?
Monte Carlo hobby stock.
Hmm?
Super modified.
Okay, and you,
And
Paul?
a Grand Prix Pro Stock.
Okay, great, great. I've been looking in the, as you can see, I've cut out I tend to do a lot of clipping of newspaper articles, and I've been following the construction of the brand new New Hampshire International Raceway. And I think it was this morning's paper. They had a piece in the paper about some of the big name drivers that are going to be coming up for that opening. I think it's, 14th and 15th of July?
That sounds right.
And,
Right, it is.
my gosh, Derek Cope, maybe Jeff Bodine, Schrader, Earnhardt. You guys gonna be there?
Mike?
I will be.
You will be.
Right.
You'll be racing.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else be racing?
Get tickets for the stands.
You're gonna go. Give me a ticket.
We probably all have
Give me a
tickets.
ticket, please. I wanna go. I think that would be a lot of fun. Especially something this is the biggest track in New England?
It's gonna be a big plus to have that up
Yeah,
here.
it's a mile.
It's gonna help racing a lot. really.
Yeah.
I know for me personally, because of Car Parts Distribution Center in Allbro, this has been fantastic.
I
Our
can imagine.
sister warehouse down in North Carolina did sponsor the Charlotte 500 and 300 last year.
Oh.
And so you'll be having the Budweiser 300
Beautiful.
this year at New Hampshire International Speedway. So, you know, it really pulls the whole thing together as
Yeah,
far as
that's
our
great.
business is concerned, too.
What's the next largest track? I mean, close to here. What would be the next largest track?
I would say Scenair.
In
would
Canada?
be, yeah, there's just over the line into Canada.
Where, Quebec area or Montreal area?
St. Pie, Quebec?
Right, St. Pie.
Oh, okay.
Then the next fastest one will probably be Thompson Speedway,
Oh, in
Thompson,
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Yes. So this one
Oswego,
is-
you go to Oswego, don't you, Dan? You get out there? no?
That's a pretty fast
No,
track.
but that's 5/8 of a mile.
Mhm.
So most of them are about half the size
Yeah.
or less
Right.
than
Half.
this new one.
Mm.
Great. And this, I understand, is right on the same site that the old motorcycle track used to be
Right.
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
And I guess they're going to be using doing the motorcycle coming sometime in June, I think it is. I think I read.
Right.
It's going to be good.
They've got a seating capacity of about 55,000
That's
for that racetrack there. and
Yeah.
They've done a nice job. Some of the seats they've got that have contoured backs to them, rather than just the
I
uncomfortable
don't have
planks
to
that
take
some
my little
people don't
fishing
like.
stool with me, huh? That's great, I like that. That's the only part of going to the races I wasn't too thrilled with.
Mhm.
You sit there and your back kills you. It's
Well, you
pretty
lean
rough.
on the person behind you and they get aggravated.
That's true, too. You just hope you put your husband in back gear.
I haven't been up to see the track itself yet, but I understand that because they had to lower it, the 18 inches, that there isn't a bad seat in the place.
Really?
So that would
Great.
be great, because a lot of times if you get up front, you can't see.
Great. Oh, we've got a call already. Ready, guys? Hello, welcome to Positively Plaistow. You got a question?
Yes, I do. I am on the crew of Dave Samad, and I've always asked him this question: what is it really like to sit in a race car? A lot of people can say, boy, you should have done this and you should have done that at the racetrack. I think it would be nice maybe for all of the crews or all the drivers to explain what it's really like and how quick you have to react. And I'd like to have that started with Dave.
Thank you, that's a great question. Okay, Dave.
I guess probably the best way to sum it up. It's every time I get in the race car, it's kind of like Christmas. Christmas morning when you get up when you were a kid.
Oh, yeah?
That's the feeling you get every time you get in the race car and you go out on the track. It's like being a kid again. And I haven't found anything that gives you that kind of excitement, that kind of thrill, I guess, you know.
Do you do anything to prepare for it? I mean, I know a marathon of what they say they carve up the night before with spaghetti and pasta and everything.
No, I don't. You know,
No?
the super modifieds don't run really any long races
Yeah,
other than
right,
the Star Classic, which is 200 laps. But
Yeah.
most of the races are 50 lappers or 35 lappers, so it really is an endurance.
Okay.
So no, I don't. I try not to, you know, drink any alcohol the night
Yeah, of
before.
course.
But other than that,
Yeah.
no.
How about you, Dan? What is it like getting into that, buckling yourself into the seat?
It's definitely a lot of fun. It has to be for all the work you do to do it.
Yeah.
But,
Mike?
Well, it is a lot of fun. It's kind of hard to describe the sensation of speed. If the different cars react differently, like the super modified that Dave drives, those things are incredibly fast coming out of the corners. And other cars, like the car Buzzy has and myself, they'll run on some longer tracks, so you'll have some very high speeds at the fast track like New Hampshire International or the Scenario Speedway there. You'll have some high speeds there, but you don't rocket out of the corner like the super modified would.
Oh, yeah.
And a Pro Stock is kind of like a combination of the two. It comes out of the corners a little bit quicker, but yet they don't really have very many shows for large tracks. So all the cars are just a little bit different, and they'll give you different sensations of speed.
Great. How do you feel about it when you climb into that, I'm going to say cockpit, even though it's not a plane, you could handle it, so I like the same thing.
Wait all week long just for that one day.
Butterflies?
No, I like it. It's something you psych yourself for and something you gotta enjoy. You gotta be cut out
Does
for
anybody get
it.
butterflies?
Oh, I do.
You do? Oh, come on, you don't get butterflies. How about you, Paul?
Well, I think I'd compare it to, you know, to what Dave was saying. I think that it's kind of like having Christmas Eve every Saturday night.
That sounds like fun.
Your anticipation of what are you going to get? Are you going to get, you know, the checkered flag, which would be the, you know, the beautiful thing for the night, or wind up on the hook, which is getting the bag full.
Right.
But it's very exciting.
Yeah.
I just love it. I've loved it for so many years. That's why I still do it. And
How long have you done it?
well, I've been doing it for about 25 years. So
Great.
I just love it. There's nothing else in the world like it, and the thrill is just it's never left really. It's
I can imagine.
you know it's just great. That's all. Everybody should do it.
Oh, really?
Sure.
You feel the same way, Jenny?
Oh, yes. I was a nervous wreck the first time they told me I could take the car out on the track.
Oh, yeah?
But there's just something about getting in the car and the flag goes down and you just go. Oh, yeah, it's a thrill. You take a deep breath and hope you do well.
Yeah. Okay, Buzzy, I left you for last. I think you were born in the cockpit of a racing car. I'm not sure. How do you feel when you climb in?
I think the biggest problem, what I feel is before you even climb in the car is your adrenaline. You know, it must be adrenaline or something. You just get, I have a problem anyways. I get myself too psyched up
Yeah.
before you get in the car to go out and do what you're going to do.
Oh, yeah?
And you find once you get in the car and get strapped in and go out there, then you relax and you just do it naturally. You just enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, the agony of defeat, the thrill of victory. I mean, when you're done, it's
Yeah.
one way or the other. But
Your
it's
Christmas
worth
is
it for
before.
all week. You know, you work all week, like these guys said, and you work hard all week. Your crews work hard, you know, and it's all for that, whatever, 25 laps, 100 laps, or whatever. It's just, it's hard to describe it. But if you win a race, then it's even harder to describe.
You don't really, huh? Okay, if you win a race, what's the purse?
Oh, it varies.
Varies?
Yeah.
Usually, yeah.
Go ahead.
Most of them around here are $1,000, if in the pro stocks anyway. And Buzzy and they they run for bigger money.
It all comes out about the same, though. I feel that like Dan or Paul there with the pro stocks, basically I have a car the same, pretty much the same as theirs, except we're on a tour where we don't run a regular track every week where these guys do, but It costs you more to do what we do, so you run for a little more because of your expense of traveling, and you have to pay motels to stay over.
Oh, yeah,
and-
right.
And all that, your expense, you run a 100-lap, minimum 100-lap race for our tour, and we run maximum 300-lap races. So we vary on
Yes,
laps, you
yeah.
know? And so now your tire bill's more money, you have to pip for tires,
Yeah, more
so,
fuel.
you know, I think it varies, like Dave's,
Yeah.
the supers, I don't know, people tell me that they're really not that expensive to run once you get them
Hmm.
built, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're not, I don't think they're any more expensive than any other class. I think what keeps them, what keeps the cost down is almost all of them are home built, basically, you know, they're not a production type
Yeah.
car, and most of the races are short races, so you're not running into the,
Big tire bills.
yeah, big tire bills and fuel bills, and so that's what
Right.
keeps the price down.
Oh, we've got another call. Hello, welcome to Positively Plaistow. You have a question?
Yes, I'm Buzzy's son, Jamie. And I was just wondering,
Oh, boy.
when did you first start driving?
Before you were born.
I remember the first
That's a
time.
good question, Jamie. We'll ask all of them, okay? Thanks for calling, Jamie.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, all right, we'll do it right here. Okay, Ginny, when did you start driving?
7 years ago.
Okay.
I didn't expect to go out the night I went out. My stepson, Rob, kept encouraging me to try it. You can do it, you can do it. And I went out and won, which was great. And from then on, every time they say powder puff, I want to go.
Your first time out, you won. Wow. Right, Mike, when did you first start
I
driving?
started about 20 years ago. I started at the Pines and Hudson Speedway.
Oh, boy. That brings back some memory. How about you, Buzzy?
Yeah, I started when I was 15 years old myself.
Mm-hmm.
My mother didn't like it, but my father was agreeable.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, it's funny that we had a car built, and I wasn't supposed to be able to race until I got my license, which was when I turned 16, but we rushed it right together and got it all built, and then talked my mother into letting me race it, so I was 15 when I started.
Great. How about you, Dan?
Yeah, I started, I think, when I was 15, but I had to start in the go-karts. I think it had something to do with Buzzy.
You think so?
My mother wouldn't let
You
me
mean you
race
think so?
either.
Yeah, we know so. How about you, Dylan? When did you start?
20 years ago, same as Mike and Buzzy,
Okay,
about
yeah.
1970,
All
at the
right.
Pine Speed.
Dave?
1972 at Pines in Hudson. My good friend Phil Burrell got me to spend my $150 graduation money on my first race car.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Great. How about you, Paul?
Well, believe it or not, I had built my first race car about 35 years ago. Yeah, honestly, I drove at the Medford Bowl down in Medford, and that was only though, we got in, the last race of the season, and I flipped it over anyway. And then they closed the bowl the next year, so I had to wait till I was 25 to start again.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah.
No, that-
You guys mentioned the Pines. That's where I first got interested in auto racing. My dad used to take my sister and I down there. Oh, awful long time ago, way back when Ridland was, Oscar Ridland
And they used
was.
to line up over the Groveland Bridge.
Uh-huh, yeah, uh-huh.
I remember as a kid
Yeah.
going down with my mother, my
Well, we went the other way. We went
Yeah.
through the Rocks Village
Yeah.
Bridge, because we
They
lived
didn't
down
line
East
up
Haven.
back that way too?
No, they lined up back that way, I'll tell you.
Oh.
They were lined up right from West Newbury on in.
Right. We used to walk because there was no parking.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah.
lived in Riverside, so we
Oh,
used to
yeah,
walk
you
over
had
the
to,
bridge
right.
and walk to the
That was
track.
unbelievable. We got there at 8 o'clock to race.
Mhm.
If you got there at 8, my wife would have to stand up the top with the 2 kids for the night. There just wasn't a seat
No,
to
there
be
wasn't.
had. And that was to be, it was
Well, in
starting.
order to beat the crowds, we used to take a picnic lunch,
Sure.
go down and watch the practice,
Yeah,
and have our picnic lunch right there.
Yeah.
Because it's the only time you could get a
get a
seat.
good seat.
It's too bad
Come on,
they
Mike,
closed that
you've
track.
got somebody working for you, I think it's Pete Hearn,
Mhm.
works for you, who's got quite a bit of memorabilia from the old Pines. I mean, there was the Tiberio brothers, there was Ollie Silva, come on, help me, Bazanson, not these two, their dad.
Right.
Don
Come on, help me on some
McLaren,
names.
Don
Oh,
McLaren.
McLaren, yeah.
Right.
Artie Russo,
Okay, you.
Oh,
We won't say Paul Matthews.
No, we don't want to name him, but,
Bob Bixby.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right, yeah, I remember him, yeah. But racing has been awfully popular in this area. Well, it'd give us a little bit of a chance to recoup here and relax for a minute. I'm going to ask the director to cue up that tape that Flo and I shot. We've edited it down to 6 minutes. And what I'll probably do is with Paul and Dave Samad and Dan, seeing as they were the ones there, let me know what you see on the monitor when they cue it up. Okay, why don't we just cue up that tape? There we are.
Well, I suppose I would have to speak. That's my son Dave.
Mhm.
And he's now in his third year of racing up there. He runs in the mini stocks, and he's home tonight. As a matter of fact, he had motor problems Saturday night, so he had to. His friend was coming up and helping him do the engine to get it back together. So they only had tonight. And he is, I'm proud to say, very proud. He is the champion in that division for this year.
Great, super.
So he's, I guess you'd call him the reigning champion.
Well, he certainly was.
Right now, he's done.
He
real
certainly
good.
was a champion explaining all of this to me, especially being what I call extremely camera shy and
Yeah, he's a great.
very
kid.
humble kid. Okay, that looks like somebody that's sitting over here.
Yeah, that's me, I guess.
That's you, yes. Okay,
And
that's your car?
Yeah, that's the 98 Super Modified. Jim Belfiore owns it. He's been building super modifieds for 25, 30 years, I think, out in the East Coast and West Coast.
Now, I discovered up there, Ralph Scavati also owns a car. He lives down on the Newton Road. He
Yeah.
owns,
He owns a Pro Stock. that,
Yeah, he owns Bradford Towing down in Haverhill.
Yeah, Bradford Towing.
Yeah, I was really
Uh,
surprised to find another Plaistow person up there.
Yeah, Jim Belfiore.
And that his car?
Yeah, that's his guy. Jim Belfiore's son, youngest son, Justin, drives the 66
Okay.
Pro
This
Stock.
is his first year?
Yeah,
Oh, great.
drove minis last year.
Now, whose car is this?
That's the 98.
Oh, that's the 98,
Yeah,
okay.
that's Jim's car, without paint.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Okay, the
normally
purple
yellow.
one, who's the purple, 17?
Kevin Stewart, I think, in the Pro Stocks.
Yes.
He won.
That's the
Oh,
car that
he
won
Yeah, he
open
won
tonight at
this past
Star.
Saturday.
Oh, they did, he did?
Mhm.
Oh, great. Beautiful. Who's the 07?
Jim Lowry Jr.
Where's he from?
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
Tewksbury, I think.
That's the same man.
Okay, this is
That's Wayne-
77.
That's
Who's
Wayne Hallowell.
Okay, Hallowell.
Yeah, he's out of
Shines.
From Pelham?
Pelham, New
Pelham?
Hampshire, right?
Mm. So you all have to tow your
Another
cars,
strong runner.
trailer your
Yeah.
your cars to the
On
track.
that truck there. That's on a flatbed truck right
Yeah.
there. But he's another very strong runner,
Yeah.
right there every week. That's the
Oh, really?
trouble. There's too many strong.
Oh,
No,
really?
the competition is just.
Okay, who's 25?
23, that would be
23?
Mike Douglas's
Oh,
Super
okay.
Modified.
There's Dan.
Yeah, that's Dan's. Oh,
That's his
Flo, I
office.
didn't, Flo took some shots in
What happened to your
the cockpit.
No padding, I bring it with me.
Now, this was 2 weeks ago, you were
Yeah.
practicing.
Yeah, that's me
And
not
there's Dan.
realizing the camera's on.
Yeah, right. And now, I had quite a chat with Dean Howard, who lives in Hampstead,
Yeah.
and he's your sponsor.
Yeah, he's one of our sponsors, he's one of the main sponsors.
Mm.
He really enjoys it a lot.
Yeah, he seemed to. He seemed to be extremely, and I saw your wife there,
Yeah, DJ, Dean's son, works on the car with us.
really. Now, we did take some shots of the cars lining up to go out and take a few laps around. Unfortunately, Dan, I did miss your crash.
And that's
We
unfortunate.
missed that. Our batteries ran down before you tangled on the track.
You also should mention that when you saw his wife, you saw my daughter.
Yes, oh, that's right, I did see your daughter, that's right, I forgot about that, yes. Your daughter is
He's
his wife.
one and the same.
Right, yes, right. In fact,
Dan's my fine son-in-law, I'm awful proud.
oh gosh, you've got two, that's right, yeah.
Easy.
I keep forgetting about that. Right, there is. Well, one of our camera people, Nancy McCormick, her daughter is also involved in racing, is married to Jeff Peabody. Because he's not running this year, right?
No.
No.
He was helping us last year on the
Okay.
tour there.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, we got quite a few good shots here. This was, I forget, oh, and even at practice, there's people in the stands, owners, competitors, I suppose, families
Yep.
Yeah.
that come up and watch practice.
We
They
call
were all
them
lined up, I
die-hard
think that's
racers.
Dave. Yeah, Dave's
That's
car.
the first one.
Yeah. And down a little further on the right is where Dan's, what do you call it, station? Or you go?
It's pit.
Pit, oh, okay, pit. All right.
There's some of Dan's competition. Dan and
There's
Paul's
competition all the way across, yeah. Yeah. We had a great time, Flo and I had a ball up there. Got some of the cars. Now, what do you do on this practice, like this practice? Just a few of you go out at a time? Are you really racing?
What they usually do is they take one division at a time
Uh-huh.
and send not too many cars out on the track, depending on the number of cars, but they like to see about 15, 20 cars at the most out there during
Oh, yeah.
practice.
Oh, okay.
And they'll try different tires or different chassis adjustments, try to get the car working real good for that night.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, because this was 2 weeks before the track opened.
A lot of times too, if you've got a brand new engine or something, you want to break it in, this is a good
Yeah,
time to do
right,
it rather
yeah.
than, you know, drive it full tilt right away. If you
Okay,
want
yeah.
to take it easy
Yeah.
for a few laps and stuff,
Right.
this is a good time.
Good. Good. Oh, we got them going out underneath. Guess that's just about the end. I think our battery petered out just about now. Yeah, we're petering out, I can see that.
Don't the cars look so nice at the
Don't they look
beginning of the
beautiful?
season?
Yeah, we took them from up above.
1 week later,
Yeah,
Yeah.
all crap.
get a picture the first day.
Yeah.
Gee, I didn't remember that your car was such and such a color.
Yeah.
Well, last
Good.
week it wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, that was pretty good. That came out good. I was quite pleased with that. We shot roughly an hour. And like I said, until the batteries ran out, because we were on portables. And Henry took a look at it, Flo took a look at it, and Leslie Converse did the editing. And got it cut down to 6 minutes for us so that we could do that. We've been talking about money. I mean, everybody says money, and I said that Jeff Peabody couldn't run because of the money, and I know Glenn Peabody, he told me himself that just too much money. How much is it? Come on, don't everybody speak at once.
It's very expensive.
How expensive is it?
All you've got, and then once you can borrow.
And then if you crash too much, get some more.
Okay, then you're telling me that your sponsors are the
Oh, yeah.
lifesavers?
Oh, yeah.
The people viewing the tapes there probably noticed all the names on the sides of the
Right,
cars.
yeah, right.
Well, a lot of these people are area businessmen or some people that just take an interest in business. So they'll try to do a little bit of advertising on the sides of the car.
Sure.
In turn, they're trying to help some of the teams finance their racing a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, who's your sponsor, Mike?
I have All Pro Auto Parts and the Car Parts Distribution Center right here in Plaistow.
Okay,
They've been helping me out, and they're a great help.
good, super. What about you, Jenny?
This year, we've been fortunate to pick up about 6 sponsors. We have Brown's Drywall, Al Bailey CAR Enterprises, Ryan Brothers, Art NATO Plumbing and Heating.
Great.
Oh, I wish I had brought my list. I know, you'd hate to forget
Yeah,
any
yeah,
of them, because they are so important.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the sponsors, we wouldn't be able to run,
Right.
not at all.
Yeah, I
We're
can imagine.
we're hobby stock, which is the beginning,
Yeah.
and probably $5,000-6,000 in a car.
Cheers.
But there are people in
Yeah.
hobby stocks that have that and just a motor.
Yeah. What about you, Basil? I mean, I can see a few.
No, actually,
No?
these here, believe it or not, are our tour. They sponsor our tour.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They put into our point fund and so
Oh,
forth
okay.
during the course
Okay,
of the
then
year.
you personally, who are your sponsors?
Well, actually, Dave Story owns the car from
Okay.
Newton
Oh, okay.
and DHS Homes.
Oh, okay.
And we've got Robinson Construction out of Epping
Mhm.
and Raytech Services out of Haverhill. Fixes hospital equipment, believe it or not.
Getting them coming and going, okay.
Loves racing.
Okay.
And we've got Gibbons Trucking out of New York. A good friend of us is George Fife, does a lot of trucking down that way, and when we go into New York to race,
sure.
talked to the guy and got him interested.
Beautiful.
He hasn't even met us, but he's going to meet us this week. But
Great.
you know, he sent us some money and helped support our effort.
Beautiful. Is Dean your only sponsor?
No, no.
Who else have you got?
Well, naturally Dean Howard and Floyd and Shirley Gates from here in Plaistow. Pudgy's Lawn Service out of Amesbury. GM Homes Excavating in Fremont. DJR Auto Body in Haverhill. It's good to have a body man on your side.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I hope I got them all.
How about you, John?
Big Boys Toys is one of them. Walters and Sons Framers out of Billerica. Races Auto Supply out of Kingston. Steve's Auto Clinic and VP Racing Fuel out of Elliott, Maine. Let's see, let me think. That's just about covers most of them.
Yeah. Dave?
The main sponsors would be Northeast Race Cars down in Billerica, Mass. They build super modifieds, and in fact the owner works for them. And Samad Gas and Oil, which is who I work for.
Yeah, I bet a feeling.
My dad owns the company, but they help out as much as possible.
What about you, Paul?
Well, I'd have to say, Jiffy Lube right here, America's favorite oil change. And after you get your oil change, you can go over to Honda Motor Cars over in Salem and buy yourself a new Honda over in Route 28 in Salem. And Supreme Truck Body and Bus, they're out of, they were in Lowell, but now they're in Peterborough, New Hampshire. And my son is sponsored too with Peterborough Ford. And PT Corporation here in Plaistow has given us a lot of help. And McSheehy Builders has helped out some. And
Matthews Auto Body?
Matthews Auto Body over in 121A, that
right,
quality shop.
That's good. Like it's the line.
Yeah, that would be about it. And, but
Are you
it's a
the only?
tremendous help, really.
You're the only body shop that has a car? Anybody else run a body shop?
Right here.
No. Now, Mike, you have a...
I have a fabrication shop. I build race cars, and we have a parts store too. We supply race car parts for the people in the area.
What do you do for a living, Buzzy?
Drive truck.
Drive truck.
Yeah, it's good practice, good therapy for getting ready to go racing. When you go out on 128 at 7 o'clock in the morning, you think you're in the feature at Stars.
Yeah, I had driven 128 early in the morning. It's crazy down there.
I work for Brockway Smith, good job, local job.
Now, Ginny works for?
Car Parts Distribution Center, All Pro. I'm really fortunate because I get to do business and pleasure all in the same day. They not only sponsor our car as well as co-sponsor Mike's car this year, but I'm involved in it as long as I'm at work. And then I get to go home and play in the garage too. So
that's great. Yeah. Dan, where do you work?
Scaff Cryogenics in Hampstead.
Oh, okay.
I do cryogenic repairs on vessels.
Oh, really? John has Big Boys Toys.
Right.
Anything else? That's a full-time job, isn't it?
Well, that's most of it.
Yeah.
I do a few little small things on the side too.
Oh, that figures.
Yeah.
How about you, Dave?
For Samad Gas, I drive a propane gas truck. And that's mostly what I do. And some servicing on the gas, and we have a small furniture store in Haverhill. And, it's a little bit of everything, I guess.
Yeah, I'm familiar with some of that furniture.
Yeah.
And of course, we know what Paul does. He repairs auto bodies.
Right, Matthews Auto Body.
Matthew Auto Body.
On North Main Street.
North Main Street. Nothing like
I gotta
owning
keep
your
my
own
car
home.
running. Quality work.
One thing I wanted to bring out, and I told you guys right from the outset when I first contacted you, of all the hobbies or sports or whatever around, seems to me that in auto racing you find more families. I know Buzzy's family is involved, Buzzy and Dan's I should say. Your sister raced, Wanda raced, right?
Yeah.
Anybody else in your family besides your dad raced too?
Yeah, my brothers have raced, both of them, right?
Oh yeah?
They're both racing now out in Arizona.
Really?
They started out with the three-wheelers.
Yeah.
ATVs there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Suicide.
Yeah,
Right.
and then now they've gone to the cars out there.
Is your dad doing any racing at all?
No, he just, he's crew chief now. He's trying to call the shots.
Referee.
Yeah. How about your family, Mike? They involved?
Yes, my wife goes, it's been a little difficult for the last couple of years because we've got two little children. I've got a little girl and now I've got a little boy.
Oh, great.
And my wife works full-time, so it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to get to the races.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But, you know, she goes as much as she can.
Yeah. And Jenny's told me that she's the first one in the car.
Yeah, well, I go every week.
Yeah.
Still work part-time,
Mhm.
but my husband was involved in racing
Great.
with the same car that Buzzy's dad was the driver.
Oh, really?
Mhm. And my stepson is the driver of our car and has been
Oh,
for
great.
several years now.
Anybody in your family, John, that's involved?
Not really. I'm just about the only one.
You're about the only one that's not involved?
Yeah, just about the only one that's a racer.
Yeah. Your family?
Yeah, my wife and my two sons, David and Christopher, and my mother and father go every week. And
Any other drivers?
my brothers and sisters, and yeah, my younger brother Rob drives a supermodified for
Oh, really?
for Mark Burns.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great.
So,
Now, Paul, we know David races.
Yeah, my son David he's a racer, and my wife has just been tremendously supportive of me racing since day one.
I would think wives
I
would
couldn't
have
have
to.
married a better girl anyway.
wives have to be
when it
pretty-
comes, oh, yeah, no, that's true, really.
You know, have to.
She's been terrific.
put up with a lot.
Really.
They do, huh?
A lot of nights when,
Oh, yeah.
you know, people are going places, and she knows how much I love that car, and she's
Yeah.
more than willing to give it up, God bless her.
But don't we have a good time at the banquet when it's all over?
Yeah, I've been to those banquets.
I think a woman really has to be, it takes a special woman to give up the
Yes, I
time.
did. And I got a great shot of you, if I remember.
As I stand in the lane.
Sometimes halfway between, I think it was.
No, that's what, actually, you're right, the banquet's there, that, I think, is the best time for the wives.
Yeah, yeah.
The year's over, they can look forward to
Yeah.
a winter where maybe you'll be home at night for supper on time, and
Yeah.
you get to take them out and wine them and dine them a little, you know.
And get an award and a trophy and everything all in one night.
That's great.
And I mentioned that because we sat with you at the banquet last year.
Yeah, right, yeah.
No, that's true, really. It takes, you know, you have to have somebody very supportive. It's a, like they say, it's very, very time-consuming, the time that you put in, you work on it, I don't know how many hours to go up and whatever.
Sort of like you're married to your car.
A little bit, you know.
The fortunate thing for me, too, is my son Jamie's just getting to the age now where he comes and helps us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's good, you know, I like that. you
So
know.
he's part of your crew?
Yeah,
now?
yeah. We had a pit stop contest up in Canada, and it was funny. He said, "Dad, what am I going to do?" And I said, "You wash the windshield. You start there, you know.
Yeah, right.
As you get older, you can work up."
How
you
old
know?
is he, Buzzy?
14.
Right.
Yeah.
He'll be in a car
Huh?
not too long a time.
Mother,
Well, I don't know. He's a pretty good baseball player, and I've been trying to convince him that baseball players make a lot more money than we make.
Yeah, that's a lot safer.
And, you know, I'll go down there and get me a season ticket and buy me the Fenway Franks,
Yeah,
and we'll be
right,
all set.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Would you discourage him?
No, I wouldn't discourage anybody from racing. I think it helped me out in life. You know, racing takes up so much of your time when you're young, you know,
yeah.
when you're a teenager or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, the trouble I probably would have got into, not that I don't get in trouble, but, no, it's a very time-consuming thing, racing.
Yeah.
Like Paul said, you know, the nights you come home and you know, you're out in the garage, but you gotta love it, you know. You
right.
have to like it to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know, so if he likes it, I would never discourage him from it, you know.
I would think any parent would encourage a young man or a young woman to be involved if that's what they really liked. If you're going to go out and you want to race and you like that speed, you might as well do it in a controlled environment with a fire suit, a helmet,
okay.
a roll cage,
Sure, yeah.
and hopefully everybody's going in the same direction.
Yep.
Your chances of getting hurt are less than riding down 125.
Right, yeah. Okay, that's one thing I wanted to lead into. I'm glad you mentioned it. Weren't a lot of the safety features on your everyday motor vehicles originate on racetracks?
A lot of them did. Some things they have trouble trying to work in is, like a roller cage, it's very difficult and expensive to put in a regular passenger car.
Yeah.
But they try to build the cars with a lot of ideas from racing. Some structures are actually made to bend in some areas to absorb an impact so that the person driving doesn't have that impact on their body. But they've picked up safety features as well as different mechanical improvements with the cars from racing. A lot of it's a spin-off from that.
On tires too?
Yes.
Tires, one of the things that...
Yeah, they're getting into the radial tires now,
Yeah.
Winston Cup and so forth,
Yeah, I thought I'd heard that. But weren't seat belts originally used in racing cars before they came into use in the
Yes.
private passenger cars? Speaking of seat belts, do you use them in your regular cars? I know you have to use them on the track. No?
I have a tendency to use mine because I have a 6-year-old that I've, for 6 years, been saying, you have to put your belt on, and now she reminds me.
Yeah, that's good, I'm glad.
So
I'm glad. So what, just you and Paul?
I get in my car and my daughter's sitting next to me, she'll say, "Buckle up, Daddy."
So you have to buckle
You
up.
have to then.
And yet you wouldn't think of getting in the race car without putting full harness on,
That's right.
right?
Right, yeah.
It's a good thing,
No,
for sure. A
yeah.
seatbelt saves an awful lot of lives.
They sure
that's
do.
For sure.
Yeah, I know they do. I've been around places where I've seen the results of those who didn't.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it can be bad. Do you consider racing safe? Is racing safe?
I think so. They've made so many improvements with safety that they've really reduced the risks. There's always risks, but
Oh, yeah.
that's there in anything you do.
Yeah.
But if you adhere to all the rules and regulations they have regarding safety, and you use your head out there, you're in a safe environment. You know, nothing's foolproof, but stock car, full-bodied stock cars, they've got full roll cages around them, padding,
Yeah, okay.
of course the seat belts, and you wear a fire suit and a helmet, and then they require you to use what they call a fuel cell to contain your gasoline in the back.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that was one of the biggest problems years ago, was fire.
Yeah.
Now it's almost unheard of for somebody to get hurt from a fire.
Really?
They've made tremendous
Right.
improvements in that area.
Any of you been hurt? Really?
No.
Not seriously.
Wow.
I got her once years ago, but my 1965.
Oh, yeah, that was a while ago. That was a while ago.
Probably back then, the cars weren't as safe
Probably
as they
not,
are
too.
today.
No, but the way it happened, well, yeah, well, that's true. You don't, well, the car flipped, and I get, you know, I actually get hit underneath the seat while the car was on its side, which, you know, but today, you don't see them flip like they did years ago. Years ago, I remember rolling, going up to Pines Saturday
Oh,
night,
yeah.
rolling the car, and then going up a week later to Hudson and rolling over there.
Yeah.
They just rolled.
I'm going down over the sandbank and...
I finally put a little pair of those orange and blue roller skates on the corners.
Oh, you did?
So that was in the
Yeah, right,
jalopy
yeah.
days, but
Right,
it was a
yeah, I
lot of
remember
fun.
the
But racing was fun, too.
It was fun, yeah.
Nowhere near the money.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I mean, to me, that speaks pretty highly of the industry. Do you consider it an industry now? I mean, those of you who, you consider it a hobby.
I consider it an industry.
It is an
though,
industry?
too. Big business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's pretty safe.
Because the money you put into it and what you know, you need the people, the support, you need, right down the line, I mean,
Yeah.
you need the people in the stands to support it, you know,
Oh, yeah.
to pay the bills and everything. And without that, the money you have to put into it and the track promoters, what they have to put into it and so forth,
Yeah.
it just wouldn't be feasible today.
But before we have to leave, one thing I want to make sure to get. You said Powder Puff probably be August and September. Okay, Mike, what about your tour? When and where?
Well, we'll be racing at Monadnock Speedway, May 20th. That's our next race.
Yeah.
You know, a week later, we have a race at Oxford Plain Speedway in Oxford, Maine. We do have a race at Star Speedway coming up July 23rd, and we have another one in September back at Star Speedway.
Great. How about you, Buzzy?
Our schedule's a pretty tough schedule because we do everything from New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont. We go all over Canada. We'll go to Nova Scotia, we'll go to
Yeah.
Quebec City,
Racing every week?
Ontario. We only have like, we're actually going now, we'll have like 3 to 4 weeks off in between, you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, like we'll race this weekend in New York, and then we'll come back, and we'll go to Vermont, and we'll come back, and then we'll go to Canada, and then to Maine, and it keeps you going all summer.
Yeah, really. Now, you've already opened.
Hmm.
What's the latest you race on the tours?
What's the latest?
Yeah, how late you race on the tours?
The end
In
of the
year?
season?
In the year, your
Yeah,
season?
October,
October?
yeah.
Hey, Dan, how about Lee? What's their schedule this year?
Well, we have a 100-lap Pro Stock race up there, I think it's May 27th.
Okay?
But 2 weeks before that, we'll go to Oxford for a 100-lap Pro Stock race. And
So
then-
actually Lee starts the 27th, and then that'll be every week?
Yeah, every Friday night after
Okay.
that.
And there's special ones mixed in with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know there's a Pepsi, oh, sure, a Pepsi
Challenge race.
Pepsi Challenge
Yeah,
race,
that's
yeah,
right.
right, yeah. No, you're gonna say the same thing here. How about Dave, Paul, what about Star?
Star Run started last weekend, last Saturday night, and then they basically run every Saturday night for the rest of the season.
Okay,
And Lee, we're racing Sunday, they're having an ISMA race at Lee, 50-lap ISMA race. That'll be the opener for the super modifieds at Lee. And they run basically about 8 shows at Lee for the super
Okay,
modifieds.
good.
So this show
so
Sunday.
now Hudson, when does that run?
Hudson runs every Sunday.
Every
so,
Sunday?
Yeah.
That's the daytime?
Yeah.
Most of the rest of the
I
tracks
think
are
they go to,
lights?
night times after the kids are out of school.
Okay.
Star Speedway, I believe Lee is what, 7 PM too, is it? Star says Saturday night at 7 PM, Lee
Okay.
is Friday night at 7 PM, they start in a couple of weeks. Both of them are great shows. Anybody out there that
Yeah.
has never seen it, if you want it, you're sitting home some night wondering what to do, just go find some good excitement.
Yeah,
It's very
that's-
exciting to
yeah, I'll
watch,
go with that.
especially if you follow it. so
Sure,
well.
I'll go with that, yeah,
Really is.
definitely, because it is, it's a lot of fun watching it.
And
And
we're
what-
fortunate to have tracks so close.
Yeah, we do. So many.
So many.
I
Exactly.
mean, you have a choice of 3, right? I mean,
Within a half hour.
within a half hour, you've got 3 really good.
You can race all weekend long.
That's right. Yeah, you could, really.
I consider myself very, very lucky to have found something in life that I just love so much. And
Yeah.
I bet every guy here would say the same thing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's very exciting. and
Certainly keeps you out of
it's
other
great.
mischief anyhow, if not
That's
now.
right. Get out of trouble.
Yeah, but your,
I think.
now your races begin, say, at 7 or 8 or whatever. But you guys get there when? Noonish?
Well, it depends on the race. If it's a night race, most of the racetracks open up around 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Some of the tour races, like Buzzy and myself do, they'll open up a little bit earlier because people have traveled quite a ways and they might have time trialing, which is a little
Okay,
longer.
yeah, yeah.
But most of the racing, you do the practice before 7, and the races start about 7 o'clock. And most of the time, they try to get the races done by 10:30 if they can.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll drag, depending on the night, it'll drag on just a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
But they try to get them done early enough so that some people can get home, especially if they've got kids, and they want to try to get the show.
And that's the family thing again
Right,
there.
yeah, they take into consideration
Yeah,
the family.
That's great. That's great.
A lot of towns too, the noise problem, they have a curfew because of the noise.
Yeah,
You
they are
do have-
noisy.
You do have
No question,
people
they're
living
noisy.
nearby
Mhm,
at some of these
right.
tracks, you know,
Yeah,
so
they
they
are
have to
noisy.
shut it down at a certain time.
Yeah, no, that, you know, it, because like I say, I am a racing nut, I love it. In fact, recently, well, last year, something was printed about myself, and a friend called me up and he's laughing, and he says, boy, he says, they really screwed up on your biography. I said, what do you mean? He says, and he's still laughing. And he says, yeah, he said, you like auto racing, and I said, I do. And he thought it was a joke. Well, guys, I want to thank you all for being here. And invite our audience. Haven't got anything to do Saturday night? Go up to Lee or Star or one of the racetracks and see these folks in action. Because you don't see Buzzy and Mike too often, but once in a while they hit the local tracks too. Keep your eye on the papers, and the papers will let you know when they're coming Next month's show, Flo Rullo will be hosting, and she will be talking to the crisis teams in our school district. Those are the people who get together when something horrible happens. If a child dies or a student dies, whether under natural or unnatural causes, their classmates get all of the help they could possibly use by this crisis team that almost just surrounds the individual school like a cocoon. And I thoroughly invite you to tune in next month for Flo's show. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and good night.